What's up, friends? How's it going? It's your pal Sean Pierce Johnson here, and welcome back to SPJ Live. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you are in the world. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all are healthy and that you're having a great week as we round out another one in 2020. Boy, it was a lot longer of a day than I thought it was going to be. This week certainly did not shape out the way that I anticipated it to, but some stuff happened today that I think was good, will lead to some fun things coming up on the channel within a matter of, well, maybe the next month, and some other things that are kind of cool too as well. I see some of our usual suspects in the chat. If this is your first time joining in, welcome wherever you are in the world. I hope you enjoy your time here, whether you're watching live right now or you're watching on replay. Please do interact in the chat. There's only one rule in the chat. Don't be a dick. If you're a dick, I'll stick one of my mods on you. And there are several of them. And one of them I see in the chat. Actually, two of them I see in the chat. And oh no, trouble has found us, everybody. Quentin James is here at the beginning of a live stream. Oh boy, we're in for some trouble today, folks. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you guys. We got Terry's 3Gs along with Quentin in here, as well as Mr. Ben Coombs, moderator to the stars, my favorite Canuck and yours. Good to have you guys here. Quentin's asking what guitar this is. Quentin, this is my Jennings Navigator, custom Telly style, picked up earlier this year. Roasted maple neck, all kinds of goodness. Olympic white, black pickguard, McNelly pickups. Next to that black and silver Les Paul, it is just probably my favorite guitar I have right now. Yeah, it's a great guitar. I love it a lot. Love it to pieces. So what happened this week? Man, what didn't happen this week? This week started out really weird. Just felt really uninspired, really with a lot of things, and didn't really feel like doing a whole lot. Kind of kept myself pretty easy going over the course of the first few days of this week. And then things took a turn for a lot busier, with a call from, or a text from, my buddy Chuck Wilson from Bootlegger Guitar. And we met up today, and I've got a load of new gear from Bootlegger to show you guys for the first time here live. And then obviously we'll be seeing more detailed videos of those pieces of gear on the channel very soon, and we'll get to those in a little bit. But one of the things that's always interesting about talking with Chuck is that it often leads to some other conversations regarding the gear and regarding Bootlegger, because our relationship is such that we talk very plainly with each other about the business, and because he's successful outside of the music world, he has a lot of different perspectives that I can appreciate as a business person myself. So it's always a really interesting conversation to have with Chuck, and we'll be looking at that stuff in a little bit. In addition to some things that I'm testing out for him to try to see like the viability of whether or not it could be something that could be potentially part of the Bootlegger catalog of products, as it were. Yeah, so it's all good times. Ben was talking with Chuck yesterday. Awesome. Yeah, you guys can actually see a little bit of one of the pieces of gear right now. I can't really lift it up because it's a full-on 112 amplifier. But this is his brand new Bootlegger Amplifier, which just came in off the boat at the port of Los Angeles just the other day. And I'll play it a little bit later on here, but we're going to be checking that out. We've got a guitar to unbox, and I got a couple interesting pedals to show you guys as well. But for the meantime, we're going to have some fun. You know, Quentin, I'm sorry that Chuck never calls you. He probably would really like you, if I had to guess. Basically, man, I've had some really strange encounters with things this week. Biggest one being, obviously today, those of us that follow Dan Steinhardt from the Gig Rig and That Pedal Show, they announced G3, their brand new next generation of pedal switchers, and I'm all kinds of excited because as a longtime G2 user, a lot of the things, it's interesting. Everything that is on G3, I actually dreamed about a month ago. It had the 12 loops, more stereo loops. It had a little screen on it, and they had changed up so many different things. And when I saw the video today, it just kind of blew my mind how close it was to this picture of this product that I saw in the dream. It was just incredibly strange, but a welcome thing to see. I've been using a G2 for the last 6 years, maybe 7 years, maybe a little less than that, but it's a lifesaver for me. I absolutely love it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can do with this next generation of switchers from the Gig Rig, because quite frankly, they're the easiest to use if you're pretty much a plug-in and play guy, and you only really want to get your sound with pedals, and you don't want to deal with a whole lot of muck when it comes to like MIDI and other kinds of extra things. It's so easy to use something like G2 because at its core, it really is all about just interfacing vintage and modern pedals in a gigging context. And for someone like me who needs to go from a really nice, pretty clean patch to a raucous and heavy distortion sound, it's fantastic. So whatever G3 is capable of doing, I am all for and very excited to see. And also really excited that they've re-engineered the MIDI portion of the switcher, because as much as I love G2, I think the MIDI programmability was probably its downfall, just because every other MIDI controller, it seems a little bit more intuitive in the way that you can change up how you send MIDI messages to your MIDI compatible pedals. It seems much more, now that it's got a screen on it and there's menus and things that you can scroll through, it seems like it's possible that you'll be able to navigate MIDI programming on the G3 much easier than you would with the G2. I don't see myself getting rid of the G2. I will most likely hold on to that for as long as it wants to keep working. But I'm very excited to see a lot of what they are working on. I think that they did exactly what they need to do. So let's see. Oh, Quentin's saying I'm getting that underwater sound, probably from me clipping this mic. I don't know. That's probably the case. Apparently, all he used when he was gigging was a TS9, a Crybaby, and an SPX 90 in the loop. What amp were you playing, Quentin? Spanky in all the right spots. There you go. Oh my God, a Crate Blue Voodoo. You didn't happen to have the 300, whatever. How many watts did they have? I know they had a 50 watt for a while, and I think it was 120 watt. But then my buddy has a 3-channel version of the Blue Voodoo that's like 200 something tube watts. Oh, it's the noisiest amp I've ever played. Just the noisiest. And you can't get rid of it, too. Not even with a noise gate. It's still just, it hurts. So, what do we say we check out some of this some of these 300 watt all-tube? I had the 50 watt. I must have had a good one. Yeah, in my experience, it was the lower wattage ones that were a lot better. I know didn't for a while Sammy Hagar have a signature crate amplifier. I kind of miss crate amplifiers personally. I had a solid state GFX 65 crate amplifier. Was my first like larger guitar amp that wasn't just like a tiny little practice amp. 112 combo, had some built-in effects, 2 channels. And really, when I look back on it, I actually had that amp for a while, and the clean sound wasn't actually bad. It was actually a pretty good, yep, there it is, 100 Blues Voodoo Red Rocker or something like that. Yep, I seem to remember that. But I actually really liked the clean sound on that old crate amp. It had a very, typical solid state amp clean tone, so it's nothing really special or anything to write home about. But in terms of getting that really nice sparkly clean sound, it did that really, really nicely. Took pedals pretty decently well. I actually ended up using it in the other room. That in the other room of my studio was where I used to teach guitar lessons. So I would often use that during lessons because it was just a very easy compact amplifier to have there at the ready whenever I needed to. I didn't need to fire up a tube amp or anything like that. Ben does not miss crate amplifiers. I feel sorry for you. I'm kidding. Yeah, crate definitely has a deserved reputation of not being great stuff. But every once in a while, you come across a pretty decent crate amplifier. I think that they just got inevitably a reputation of being a cheap amplifier company. But there were parts of their product line over the years that actually were pretty good. And unfortunately, even when you occasionally release a product that's pretty good, if it's that whole 9 out of 10 times deal. 8 to 9 out of 10 times you release something bad, even when you release something good, nobody's going to pay attention because largely you put out product that's not very good. So in a way, they were their own worst enemy, constantly creating cheaper product, but not really, when a good product of theirs actually came out, nobody cared, because why would I want to check out that when somebody else is making something comparable and I know it's not going to suck? So I don't know. Quentin says, apparently because of the California fires, my local Wendy's is out of lettuce and tomatoes. Wow, that's intense. This is the first I've heard of something like that, but not entirely unexpected. There's a lot of farming up in NorCal in the Central Coast area. A lot of people don't realize that about California. There's a lot of agriculture in the state, especially on the drive between when you get out of LA County, on the north portion of LA County, as you kind of come over the hill through the Grapevine, from there to about, I'd say 50 miles inland of San Francisco, that stretch is largely farmland, and it's agriculture, it's livestock, there's a ton of farming out there. So if some of the fires happen to affect like smaller farms, I could definitely see that being the case. That's interesting. I didn't realize that it was such a thing. And yes, Quentin, I do agree. The 300 watt all tube head was just stupid. It's absolutely unnecessary. It's so unnecessary to the point that my friend that has that amplifier, when he got it, it never came with a foot switch. So for years, he didn't have a foot switch for his amplifier, and he would have to, he would literally have to just walk over to the amp and change the channel whenever he was playing. And he got pretty good at it. And then he finally found a guy that built a custom foot switch, and it was like 3 times the size of the original. But hey, he's got a foot switch for it, so I guess more power to him. I didn't think people in Kentucky ate vegetables. I thought they just used them to make liquor. No, maybe they use them to make meth, as Quentin says. It's huge in meth. So we've got 7 people watching right now. That's pretty good. Welcome all. Hope you're all having a great day. If you have not interacted in the chat, please introduce yourselves and let us know where you're watching from. We're going to get started on this train of new gear that I just picked up from Chuck at Bootlegger Guitar by checking out these pedals that he's having me check out. So a little bit of a backstory on these pedals for you is that Chuck designs his guitars here in the States and then has them built in South Korea. And the builder that builds the guitars also makes some really cool tube-powered pedals. And obviously you can see there's a little LED in there shining it blue. But I see heat amongst the pins in the tube. And it's an Electro Harmonics 12AU7. And this is the tube Overdrive. The camera is a little overexposed. So, how's it going, Chuck? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. So this was the Overdrive sound that you guys heard on the intro today. And basically, from what I can gather from the instructions, is that it takes 15 to 18 volts DC. I'm running it at 18 volts right now, by the way. It's a 2-mode tube overdrive pedal. And it can get pretty gainy, which was really surprising. And the mode switch seems to dictate sort of the EQ curve of the overdrive. So what I'll do is I'm going to plug it in. And we're, in the words of my friends at That Pedal Show, we're going to have a little schwang. Go Dodgers! So this is mode number 1 with master drive and tone all at noon. Certainly things out, but I kind of like it in the sense that it feels sort of mid-ranged, high-end emphasis. I feel something like that going on. Let's back down the gain about 10 o'clock. Put the master up around 2. I like it. It almost feels kind of like Vox top boosty-ish, I guess. Hey, Francisco, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. Welcome. Want to make sure, because I haven't checked the tracking info, let me make sure you got that pedal from you. I know Francisco, of course, when we had our live pedal auction a couple weeks ago, got the Shiftline Astronaut. I just want to make sure you got it and everything's cool. I haven't checked the tracking information. Let's go ahead. Master around 1, tone around 1, gain around 1. Now let's just crank the drive. like that neck pickup. It's like it's thinned out with a little bit of fleshing out, just because we're kind of increasing that gain. But it doesn't feel overly thin. It definitely has a bit of a Vox-ish kind of quality to it. Mode 2 definitely comes across to me as more of like a full range overdrive sound, a lot fuller. Turn it off. Pretty clean. Yeah. You know, this thing isn't half bad. I definitely think that there's some potential here with this. I'll have to definitely do more detailed testing on this, but I will say, feel a little heat in there. You know, the tube's right there. There's a vent, and then, you know, it's heating up around the vent. The glass covering the tube is getting a little warm. So, you know, maybe that's a good sign that the tube might actually be doing something. I think the ultimate test of a tube pedal really comes from opening the pedal up, taking the tube out, turning the pedal on, and making sure that the pedal doesn't pass signal. I don't know how many of you remember the Padron amps Stranger Fuzzings that I got a couple of years ago, but that particular pedal, I took out the tube that came stock inside of it, and unfortunately, and went to go replace it with like a used 12AX7 that I had, because I wanted to see if I could get some more like raspy gain out of it. By the way, Ben has put up the link to Bootlegger Guitar, so go check out the stuff. There's videos on the channel of the Rye and the Hounder, so please check out those videos if you want to see anything related to Bootlegger. I think you guys will like the stuff. So it ended up taking not a 12AX7, it took some other tube, but at least when I fired it up, even with a tube not the kind of tube that should be in there, the pedal did not work. So a lot of what that pedal was doing was in the tube. So that was nice to know. So the second one is the tube distortion, and it looks like basically what you'd expect: level, distortion. It's got treble and bass, a mid-range, and a mid-frequency control, which is very unusual. I don't feel like many pedals out there come with mid-range frequency controls, and I feel like that is highly underrated control. Mid-range is one thing, but I personally feel like the frequency, being able to adjust that, is almost as important as being able to adjust the mid-range. So, and it's a boost and cut as well. So we'll give the tube a little time to warm up here. Turn it on. All knobs in and around noon. Whoa, that's big. I kind of like that already. It's got a little bit of an Adam Jonesy kind of vibe to it. Let's see. I mean, that's very like metal zone-y in a way, but I mean, come on. You have to have a little bit of fun with scooped mids. But then we can, you know, dial a little bit of it back in. Ooh, that's cool. That feels very HM2-y. HM2-y. It's kind of chewy. Yeah, that feels very reminiscent of a Boss HM2. Maybe not quite as chainsaw-y, but it definitely has that vibe. You know, this has some potential. We're going to have to do more intimate testing with it, but I think this has got some definite potential. More details to follow. But I wanted to just show it to you guys to just show you like, hey, there's something to these. And I think that they could be pretty cool. Maybe we'll do a little bit more of an intimate deep dive in a future video. If you want to see something like that, you know, maybe if Chuck and I decide that this is something viable, maybe you guys would like to see some sort of like production diary, as it were, or some kind of documentation of developing these into a final form. But yeah, I found myself cutting mid-range more than boosting with this, just because with the rocker verb, the mid-range in that the rocker verb's clean tone has a very characteristic orange mid-range. And I find with a lot of distortion pedals, I tend to need to cut mids more than I need to boost mids, because the mid-range content is already there in the clean tone as it is. So yeah, I'm into it. I think that there's something to it. And with that out of the way, let's see what else is going on here. I'm going to put this down for now because we have, ta-da, a guitar to look at. Who's ready to unbox a guitar or uncase a guitar? There's no box in it. All this bootlegger talk has me craving In and Out for some reason. I'm going to guess it just has to do with California. That's just my my perspective on it. So here, Nice bootlegger hard shell case. I like the little silver piping around here. We got a little silk screen bootlegger logo on it. And so you know, these guitars do come with caches. So, yep, Chuck, I do think that there's some potential with these pedals, but we'll have some more detailed testing and notes for you. So don't worry, we'll be talking more about these ones. So all these bootlegger guitars come with cases, which is pretty awesome. Considering that their prices are incredibly affordable. This one that we're about to unbox, I believe Chuck, if I'm remembering correctly, Chuck told me was $7.99. And I think it's going to be one that you guys are going to dig. I know I dig it. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Woo! That's hot stuff. That is some hot stuff. You guys ready for this? Here we go. Let's check it. This is the Bootlegger Royal. It's pretty hot stuff. This case out of the way. There you go. Really cool quilt top with blue burst paint job. It looks hum single hum, but it's actually 3 humbuckers, 2 full size and a single coil size. Bolt on neck. Gonna get this D'Addario thing out of the way. Got this 3-on-3 bootlegger headstock, which looks awesome. Grover tuners, made in Korea. Got ourselves a Floyd Rose bridge here, which is awesome. So, Chuck did a little modification on this one with a push-pull pot to split the humbuckers. And we have these hotter GP or GBP pickups on them. Now, this is the first time I've gotten to play this, so we are exploring this together, which is very nice. Gonna tune it up. Gonna have to unclamp the locking nut, retune it just a little bit. I do not have my Allen keys up here with me. Let's turn on some distortion. happened with the G string, so I'm going to need to unclamp this and retune that. But the neck feels really good. I was really wondering when I picked it up if the fretboard would feel too wide for me, but yeah, it feels pretty good. Let's go to the rock reverb stuff. Kind of harmonic minor-ish with that one. This feels really good. I gotta say, it feels really good. I was not entirely anticipating that, but it feels really good, and that makes me very happy to say. The thing with shredder guitars, and this is definitely a guitar that's meant to be played fast and furious. The thing with these kind of guitars that always drives me nuts is really the necks, because I tend to prefer guitars that have thicker necks on them. And this one, although the fretboard is wide, it doesn't feel like like the Wizard Ibanez necks that are just so thin, and it's like there's nothing there. See that? Hi, Janice. makes me want to fire up my John Petrucci Rock Discipline instructional DVD and have a go with some of those exercises. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. Yup. Pretty yeah. So we're going to be getting down with this thing. We're going to be doing a video. We're going to be having ourselves a grand old time with this. I think it's going to be fun. Looks really nice. It's a sweet looking guitar. So with that, now let's turn our attention to the amp down here, which is a switchable 30 watt to 15 watt 112 combo. It is a clean channel, and it has an overdrive, but it's a imagine, if you will, like you have an overdrive pedal in front of a clean amplifier. That's basically the idea with it. Let's switch back to the Jennings for this one. And we're going to plug right into that. I got it in 15 watt mode right now. I'm gonna go for like a typical blackface kind of sound. Also has a built-in reverb. You know what? I'm just gonna plug straight in. Put no pedals in front of it. There we go. That's nice. This reverb actually feels really nice. That dwell is a lot of fun. Couple other things I should mention about it real quick. 3-band EQ shared between both channels, treble, middle, bass, mastered volume, reverb, and there's a presence control on this as well. I'm gonna go ahead and just crank the reverb and play a couple notes. That's the fun you get up to with a spring reverb. Very cool. So then we switched over to the Overdrive, which I have turned down. Now I'm going to turn it up. Got a lot louder, as you can hear. It's not a very high gain sort of distortion overdrive, but has a bit of like a tube screamery kind of vibe to it. Definitely with that setting. Hey, Maddie, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Now, there is a boost on this as well. So it's like pre and post gain boost, which is pretty gnarly. It's got a little heft to it. It's got a little bit of heft. Dial back the bass a bit. Yep, that gets pretty hefty. Not gonna lie. That's surprising. I'm curious, with this gain boost, we kind of emphasize the mid-range a little bit more. I feel like now I've not played a legit Overdrive special before, but I've definitely heard plenty of Overdrive specials, and this kind of like mid-range heavy feels very lyrical. Yeah, Ben, exactly. It's a very warm lead tone. And you know, when Chuck and I were talking about this amp, and as he was getting ready to have these things built, you know, it definitely has a vibe that's more like an old school approach, and that's kind of the idea. It's got a clean sound. It's got a very basic kind of overdrive, but to me, it kind of comes across now finally playing it. It's an amp that if you know what you're doing with the controls and your guitar, you can get more out of it than it might suggest. Obviously, this is literally with you guys sitting in front of me right now on this live stream is the first time I'm actually getting to intimately play it. There's some other features. There's an extension speaker jack. There's a foot switch jack to go between the clean and the overdrive channels. There is a send and return jack on the front for the effects loop. And yeah, this is a pretty surprising little amp. Let's get back that kind of chimey. Yeah, I think we're going to have some fun with that one. Very warm, not terribly like, you know, it's got articulation, but it's not got a whole lot of, you know, the highs don't hurt, which is always nice. Well, we've got about, we're closing in on an hour. There's one last thing. And, well, it's another guitar. But we've seen this guitar before. It's not a new bootlegger. We have a demo of this one up on the channel. But it is one of the Bootlegger Rye models, which I did a video of, and those of us who like Steve from Boston also know that Steve recently did a demo on his channel of. And I do like this guitar. It is a lot of fun. And I get to have it, I guess, is what's going down with this. But you might notice something kind of interesting about it. It's a B stock due to the, I'm deciding to call it a birthmark. A little birthmark on the headstock that discolors it slightly from the rest. But other than that, it's the same Bootlegger Rye model that we've seen before and that we like and that looks really fun, because it is fun. And we're going to tune it up. We're going to play it a little bit. And distortion. Let's on some echo. So yeah, it's a pretty cool axe. And so it's here with me. And it's cool. And it's all black and it's mean looking. Got the birthmarks on the headstock. But, you know, we were spitballing some ideas about this guitar, and obviously I have a lot of guitars. I don't know how many I'm going to need, because let's face it, we don't know when we're going to go, and we can't take everything with us. So I'm kind of thinking maybe put a fresh set of strings on this thing, and maybe somewhere out there, some of you might be interested in having this. Now I could sell it, obviously. That's something that I could do, and I could make a little bit of money for myself. Or I could give it away, which might be kind of fun. Either on Instagram or on YouTube or that new website I've been working on. Yeah, Chuck will take one. You probably got quite a lot of these stored up somewhere, huh? So yeah, maybe we'll think about doing a little multi-platform giveaway with this guy. I don't know. Maybe we'll think about it. I'm gonna play it for a little while, and then who knows? I might change my mind. I don't know for certain. But there's some cool stuff from Bootlegger coming out. We're going to be taking a look at in more detail in the future. I'm looking forward to it. I think that Chuck's making some really cool stuff. And Chuck's here, of course, in the chat watching along with us tonight. So thanks for that, Chuck. Thank you so much for coming out and meeting the people, as it were. We don't often get a whole lot of the people that run the companies coming into the chat. So that's very nice of you to do. Well, folks, it's getting to be about that time. It's getting late. I got stuff to do, but it's been so awesome of you all to spend some time with me here on the channel today. This was your first time joining in for SPJ Live. Welcome to the bunch, and stick around with us for a while because there's going to be plenty of stuff coming up as we round out the weirdest year of our lives, probably. If you haven't done so already, please do click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. That way, you'll always see the demos that go up here on this channel and also let you know anytime that I go live. I'm sorry for the short notice this week. I just couldn't get around to it, and having to drive up to LA to meet up with Chuck today takes a lot of time to get places in Southern California. It is a long one. So until next week, my friends, I bid you all adieu, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel right here for SPJ Live. And until then, I wish you all great tone, good health, and happy stomping, friends. Cheers, and God bless.